Hey everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. Welcome back to this YouTube channel. We're going to be doing a Proverbs video today, which are always so much fun. Thanks as always for tuning in. If you're new to this channel, please join our wonderful community. Hit that subscribe button, join us. And if you want to get notifications every day when a new video comes out, you can also just ask for those notifications. And a gentle reminder, those of you who are interested, as we come into January, we are starting that healing program at the end of this month. Go ahead, hit that link in the video description. You'll get more information. This is it. In some ways, I'm kind of getting tired of just talking about narcissism. I really, really want to work with folks on how to heal from this, because that's really what this is about. But let's also go back to all the ancient wisdom that sits out there, a lot of it in those Proverbs. So let's take this one on. And all of you have heard this one. The devil you know is better than the devil you don't. How many of you use that one to rationalize your narcissistic relationship? So as always, thank you to all of you who have been sending in these Proverbs. And you often give me ideas to think of ones I didn't even think of before. This homespun wisdom, as much as it might say, look, why does she even bother? I'll tell you why I bother, because a lot of these Proverbs are sometimes good, but also can sometimes keep us stuck. Now, this proverb has a few variations. Some also say it as the devil you know is better than the angel you don't. And the origins of this proverb range from being an Irish proverb, an African proverb, even a line from a Trollope novel. So any of those places. But what does this proverb mean? Basically, that the person who you don't like, or who's tough on you, but you already know, is better than the one you don't. And when we use the variation that involves the angel that you don't, that even a bad person you already know is better than having to take on and learn about someone new, even if that new person is good. Now, this proverb captures a main reason that many people get stuck in narcissistic relationships and often use as a justification for the relationships. Basically, familiarity. Now, let's face it, the narcissist is the devil you know. You may know how they will gaslight you, how they will manipulate you, how they will cheat, lie, invalidate. You may have your expectations ratcheted down. So even though it doesn't feel good to live with such low expectations, at least you know the territory. It all feels terrible, but you get it and you know how it moves. I can't tell you how many people in narcissistic relationships will say, okay, I know this relationship is absolutely unhealthy and awful, but now what? If I go out there and start trying to meet someone new or find a new job or make new friends, I am just going to meet more bad people. And at least I already know this bad person. The idea of having to relive these processes and make more mistakes and experience new hurts and new narcissists feels too overwhelming for many people. So they fall back on the devil they know. Familiarity may be one of the more seductive human experiences out there. When something is familiar, even if it is bad, we are somewhat drawn to it. This familiarity dynamic is a key piece of trauma bonding. When something is familiar, for example, for someone who may have grown up in a family that was invalidating, rejected, or had an unempathic parent, it can be so easy and almost magnetic to fall back into one of these patterns and then justify them or describe them as a connection you can't understand, but it feels deep. That familiarity can get us stuck in toxic relationships. That's the idea of the devil you know. The devil you know is also a proverb about fear, and fear is a central dynamic in narcissistic relationships. The fears for so many people who are thinking of dismantling a narcissistic relationship include the fear of being alone, the fear of being broke, the fear of not seeing children, the fear of disapproval, the fear of never meeting new people. So that fear can get rationalized by this proverb about the devil you know. For me, this proverb is a chilling cautionary tale about narcissistic abuse, because so many people stay, especially in intimate relationships, because they're so afraid of being alone, or that the narcissist will move on if they leave, or that they won't meet someone else themselves. And then there are other variables that people bring into it. I've talked to numerous people, especially women, who have stayed in long-term narcissistic marriages and will then feel that if they leave the marriage, they may struggle to find a new partner and rationalize staying in something that is terrible for their health as the devil you know. Another issue that this proverb raises that is so relevant to narcissistic abuse is that it comes down to basically devil versus devil, right? The devil you know, that's your existing narcissist, is better than the devil you don't. And by and large, people often conceptualize that as another person, for example, or a new person who may be worse. But for some people, the devil you don't know may be being single or alone or cutting off from family or leaving a long-term job. The devil you know is different, as a different and unfamiliar future. Perhaps the work then is to start recognizing that the devil or the angel that you don't know may be unfamiliar, and the confusion and loss of confidence and loss of self-esteem that often come out of narcissistic relationships means that many people may feel that they can't make it on their own or be on their own or do on their own. But let me promise you this, any day without a narcissist, even if it is a day alone, is much better than a day with them. We are sold so many narratives about how being in a relationship is better, that being with family is great, that old friends are worth keeping. Sometimes, sure, and sometimes maybe not. A key focus of healing that I hold for people who have experienced narcissistic abuse is to get good with your solitude and recognize that not being invalidated or manipulated or gaslighted, there is nothing that feels better than that. So while the Irish or African or whatever origin of this proverb remains unclear, whoever wrote this or thought this unwittingly was writing about trauma bonds and fear. The idea that I have to stay with the devil I know to avoid the devil I don't. At a minimum, you know this. After being in a narcissistic relationship and surviving it, you know that you have the ability to survive it again. So staying with the devil you know may be familiar, but familiarity is a sucker bet when it comes to toxic relationships. Yes, the devil you don't know may be scary, but sometimes that devil or angel you don't know may be your salvation, whether it is a new person or better yet, just you. That fear of being alone keeps so many people trapped. And honestly, I think more often than not, in so many cases of narcissistic relationship, that devil you don't know is that idea of being with just you. And the awakening and the healing and the recovery from narcissistic abuse is that it's not about just you. Being with you, that is the prize. Thanks again. Thanks for tuning in. And if you like this video, give me a little bit of validation and give us that thumbs up. Thanks so much.